artist Buju Banton is now awaiting sentencing after being found guilty of 3 cocaine-related charges this afternoon in a federal court in Tampa, Florida. The singer has been found guilty of charges of conspiracy to possess with intent to distribute 5 kilograms or more of a mixture of cocaine, aiding and abetting others in using a communication facility in the commission of a felony, and possession of a firearm in furtherance of a drug trafficking offense. Latoya Spence has been covering the trial for the RJR Group.
A wave of sadness flooded the courtyard of the Sam M. Gibbons courthouse this afternoon. Tears streamed down the faces of the throng of friends and supporters who had spent the last week in court with the artist, hopeful that today he would be set free. When the news broke sometime after 2 this afternoon, the jury foreman told the court that Buju had been convicted of 3 of the 4 charges. Those were conspiracy to possess with the intent to possess 5 or more kilograms of cocaine, possession of a firearm in the furtherance of a drug trafficking offense, and using wires to facilitate a drug trafficking offense. This came as a major shock to many of his friends, many of whom broke down. Buju, however, remained composed and told them to be strong. Later, a dejected and disappointed David Marcus emerged from the courtroom, and in his hand was a statement written by the artist a short while after he was convicted.
Found guilty of 3 of the 4 charges. Counts 1, counts 3, and counts 4. Count 1 is the conspiracy count, count 3 is the gun charge, and count 4 is the telephone count. And we're just devastated, and we're going to keep fighting, and we're going to appeal.
He also read a statement that Buju Banton wrote minutes after he was convicted.
He said, "Our life and our destinies are sometimes predestined, and no matter where this journey takes me, remember I fought the good fight. It was a great man that said, my head is bloody but still unbowed. I love you all. Thank you for your support, and continue loving God."
In the meantime, his supporters are hopeful that the artist will be given a second chance at fighting for his freedom and clearing his name. Latoya Spence in Tampa, Florida, for RJR News.
Meanwhile, Miami-based attorney at law Professor David Rowe says Buju Banton is facing a sentence of 15 to 20 years in prison. In an interview on RJR's Eruption this afternoon, Professor Rowe said the artist is facing the long prison sentence because he decided to go to trial in the face of a mountain of evidence that was against him. Professor Rowe said he had instructed the Jamaican singer to enter a plea deal with the Americans in order to obtain a lighter sentence, adding that Buju's attorneys pursued a flawed defense.
When he was arrested, on the night of the arrest, when I read the probable cause affidavit, I suggested that he immediately take a plea, which would probably result in a 2 or 3 year resolution to this case. But he elected not to do so. He elected to hire attorneys and to run a statistically very, very exotic defense. The entrapment defense does not work in federal court. I explained that on several occasions.
He said Buju's defense of entrapment was doomed to fail before a jury.
It doesn't work because it's an extremely difficult defense to argue before a jury. To tell a jury that the reason why I did something is because I was not prone to do it and somebody overcame my will is very difficult to explain. And probably in the first trial, he probably only got 1 or 2 jurors on his side.
Okay.
It is a statistically very difficult defense.
Professor David Rowe, he added that it's unlikely that Buju will succeed on appeal.